This is a comparison between the Retina MacBook Pro 13-inch versus the non-Retina MacBook Pro 13-inch. So let's start with the price difference. Currently in Best Buy, the price difference between the base model of both model is about $50. So it comes down to which one do you want to buy. And hopefully this video will give you a better understanding of why you would pick one over the another. So let's start with why I would recommend the 13-inch Retina MacBook Pro over the non-Retina model. So the biggest difference is probably the display. So the Retina MacBook Pro has a resolution of 2560 by 1600. So if you're watching any type of movie or video, it looks absolutely amazing. So because of the higher pixel per inch, it makes it much more future-proof. So in about a year or so, there's gonna be more 4K movies and 4K videos coming out in Netflix and on YouTube. So you want the highest resolution display so you could get the better experience. And that's the reason why the Retina makes it a better future-proof laptop than the non-Retina model. There's also other things such as portability. Obviously, the Retina model is much thinner and much lighter than the non-Retina model. It's about a pound lighter. You're gonna notice that especially when you have it on your lap or when you're moving it from places to places, especially if you're a college student. There is also another huge difference, which is the storage option. Obviously on the Retina MacBook Pro you get a flash storage, so it's not like a hard drive that you would get in a non-Retina model. It has some benefits and some disadvantage. Obviously the advantage is it's much faster, so you're able to boot up your laptop in less than 20 seconds. It goes from sleep to wake in about 2 or 5 seconds, and it's much faster, especially when you're opening up Google Chrome or even Final Cut Pro 10, which usually requires a lot of time on the non-Retina model. You're able to open it up in a matter of seconds. But there is the disadvantage, which is lower storage option. So the one that I have is a 256GB model. If you got the base model, it would have 128GB storage. And I could tell you that 128GB storage is definitely not enough. Even if you have a couple of videos or a couple of movies and a couple of Word documents, it's still gonna be filling all the way to the top. Even with the 500GB storage on the non-Retina model, if you're video editing, it's gonna fill up in a matter of months. So I edit all of my video with the 13-inch non-Retina model, and it fills up very quickly. Every time I want to make a video or import footage, I have to delete all the other footage and open it up again. And with the non-Retina model, you're going to have some problems. Obviously, it's gonna be much slower. I did a comparison where I opened both of the laptop from shutdown to turning it on, and the non-Retina model took more than twice the time as the Retina model. Now let's switch to the other side. Why you would pick the non-Retina model over the Retina model. I did a comparison where I did scrolling on both of the MacBooks, and I opened up a website called theverge.com. It has a lot of graphics, a lot of text, and a lot of pictures. So it's a very demanding website. It's very hard on your CPU and your GPU, especially when you're scrolling. So I did scrolling on both of the laptop, and I noticed a huge difference. The non-Retina model scrolled much better and much smoother. I was getting about 60 frames per second when I was scrolling, but on the Retina model, it seemed very choppy. So if you're opening up a big website like theverge.com, the non-Retina model seemed better. But the reason why the Retina model struggles is obviously because the resolution of the display is much higher. That means the processor and the graphics has to work much harder to deliver the same performance as the non-Retina model. It's not really that bad because in future there's going to be better optimization that really focuses on the Haswell processor that's on the Retina MacBook Pro, and it will probably get better. There is also another huge reason why a lot of people get the non-Retina model, which is upgradability and repairability. So you could open up the non-Retina model with a special screwdriver, but it costs much less and it doesn't require a lot of skill to do it. So you are able to upgrade the RAM to 16GB to 8GB slots, and you're also able to upgrade the hard drive. There's also an option where you could remove the optical drive and put another hard drive or another SSD and create a fusion drive. So you could replace the hard drive with the SSD and get similar performance to the Retina MacBook Pro. And it's also easier to repair. You could repair the battery, the RAM, or the hard drive like I said. So it's much easier to expand and repair. Now, if I had to buy one MacBook over the other, I would definitely buy the Retina MacBook Pro. Here is why. Even though the SSD is much smaller, obviously it's about 128GB or 256GB depending on the price point, but there is a lot of expansion. There is 2 Thunderbolt port on the Retina MacBook Pro, so you're able to put external hard drives and expand the storage. So I would get an external hard drive enclosure and plug it in when I have to edit a video. It gets to be a hassle, but I would still pick the Retina MacBook Pro. And obviously because of the display, it's gonna make it much better experience in video editing. If you're video editing 4K video or even 1080p video, it's gonna make a huge difference. There is also other stuff such as more display option. The Retina MacBook Pro has 2 Thunderbolt. There are also many display port, so I'm able to connect 2 display, and there's also a HDMI port, so I will be able to connect 3 external display. There is also minor improvement over the non-Retina model, such as having a better speaker, and also there is a dual microphone. Now we're getting to the end of the video, so I did one benchmark to kind of compare the CPU difference. So the Retina MacBook Pro has a 2.4 GHz Intel Core i5 processor with 8 GB of RAM and 256GB flash storage. And the non-Retina model has a 2.5 GHz Intel Core i5 processor and 4 GB of RAM and 500GB hard drive running at 5400 RPM. Even though the Retina model is clocked a little bit lower, you're still gonna see that the Retina model outperforms the non-Retina model. In terms of GPU, the Retina model has an Intel Iris graphics and the non-Retina model has Intel HD 4000. This is where you're gonna see a huge difference in graphics. Because the MacBook Pro Retina has a much higher resolution display, it needs a better graphics, and the Retina MacBook Pro outperforms the non-Retina model by a lot on OpenGL. So that's about it. Thanks for watching.